If you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Christine Campbell-Rappin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. Welcome back, everybody. So often when I bring up the word selling and sales, we have this awful, cringy reaction. I don't want to do that. I'll never be confident at sales, and selling will never be natural to me. Well, today we're going to help shift that to becoming your reality. I'm super excited to introduce a guest to you today. Ursula Mentjes is an incredible business owner, fantastic representation of selling with people, focused, and tech. And she's going to be talking with us today. Ursula, welcome to our community. Super excited to have you here.
Christine, thank you for having me. I know this is going to be a fun conversation. I love your energy. I can feel your community out there ready for this. So let's do it.
We are 100% ready for this. And I want to start with the first gigantic elephant in the room, because I always ask the question, like, are you managing or avoiding sales in your business? And most people go, oh, God, can I do anything in my business but sell? Why is that? Why do we really have this massive aversion to sales conversations?
Yeah, well, often I hear from business owners that they will do anything to avoid feeling pushy in the sales process. The number one limiting belief that I'm constantly working with clients on is I don't want to be pushy. And underneath that is our desire as humans to be liked. We want to be liked. We don't want to be thrown out of the community, right? So to speak, we want to be part of it. And we think if we take someone through an entire sales conversation, it's going to feel pushy. It's going to feel awkward. And so one of the things that you can do is just notice where you stop in the sales conversation. Some people stop at the beginning, right? Christine's like, I'm going to outsource all of it. I'm just going to have my assistant sell. They're going to book everything and it's done. Other people, they get stuck somewhere in the middle. Like, an objection comes up and it's like, okay, Christine, well, just call me if you decide that you want to do this or whatever. And then some people get stuck at the end when it comes time to ask for the money. And one of the things I want to say is let's just normalize this. We're not taught how to sell. We don't learn how to sell in kindergarten and fifth grade. You could go to Harvard University and not have a class specifically on sales. You can have it on marketing all day long, but not on selling. So it's not your fault.
It's interesting and absolutely true. And it's interesting as someone who spent a career both in marketing and sales and in ops, everybody would be valued and more sought after as an employee, as a business owner, as a peer, as a leader, if you learned the role of influence. And I think it's interesting you talk about this journey of there's so many ways we can quit the field. And quitting the field doesn't serve our business.
Yeah. Say a little bit more about that. What's your question? Or
well, I want to talk about this idea first and foremost. Holding the tension and recognizing that while we're not taught this skill, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But staying in the gap of not learning the skill is the reason you will always go, I think I have an expensive hobby. So how do we step in when we haven't been gifted it?
Yeah.
To start solving the problem sooner rather than later?
Yeah. So I think it's recognizing that selling is a learned skill. You talked about the word influence. Selling involves influence. It involves leadership. And at the end of the day, people buy from you for one reason. And the reason is that they're confident you can solve their problem or meet their need. And a lot of times that's like this subconscious exchange of energy. We don't even know what's happening, but think about the last time you bought something or you invested in something that was a pretty big purchase, right? Maybe a car, maybe you're redoing your backyard and you got a bunch of quotes or you went and met with a bunch of salespeople. We buy from the person who gives us the sense of like, they're going to get this figured out for us. They're going to solve this problem. They're going to meet that need. They're like, I've got you. I've got this. That's what we buy. Mm-hmm. And so the question to ask yourself is where do I get stuck in that process, right? Mm-hmm. Number one, you got to be your biggest cheerleader in terms of the product or service you offer, right? You got to believe in what you offer, whether
Yes.
you're working for yourself or somebody else. Second, from there, you got to be willing to be in the conversation. And that's tough
Mhm.
because you want to take, especially if you're selling services, your prospect is here, right? They got a problem. They want to be over here. And Christine, you mentioned the gap. I like to think
Mhm.
of it as a bridge. Our job is to ask enough open ended questions to help somebody walk across the bridge. So literally, they sell themselves. You don't want to be in the position of doing any convincing, right? It's like coming to the conversation of like, Christine, I can help you maybe. And if I can't, maybe I can refer you to somebody else. Let's have the conversation and see if I can. And we always joke about this because I truly believe you could ask one open-ended pain-related question and one open-ended goal-related question and just listen for an hour. And someone would probably sell themselves because they feel connected to you. You're listening to them. So it's like, stop talking so much because we all do this, right? Start listening and just open up the space for that conversation. You'd be amazed what would happen. I've had clients do this. I'm like, just ask 2 questions and sit there and say nothing else and watch what happens.
It's true. People who are looking for a solution are looking for a solution, and I need you to just hear that. It's never your role to convince, and I love that you talk about confidence right out of the gate. When you are getting your mind around, my job as a business owner is to find clients, to make offers, and to get to the decision, you need to recognize, you need to receive the gift that you're going to borrow my confidence until you can establish your own. And that's a big piece of the puzzle. This is an exchange, not a bullying conversation. I think we're well past that. And certainly I would anticipate the 99% of our majority audience is like, I want this to feel good. And I said, it feels good when we borrow confidence, when we gift confidence, when we work together to say, if it's a solution, let's make a match. And you have some real great ideas around the psychology of a successful conversation because it is a journey. And you've talked about there's many places in that journey we can abandon ship, run away, and
Yes.
learn from the experience of that and regroup because the good thing is you will have another opportunity to have a sales conversation. But what's happening right now in the world of psychology and selling?
I don't know if it's shifted that much. The first book I ever read was Brian Tracy's book called The Psychology of Selling. That's when I first started my sales career, and that was a game changer for me. I had an undergrad degree in psychology. Eventually, I got a master's degree in psychology, and it it kept reiterating the same thing, Christine. And I know you know this, and I know your listeners know this as well, that when we make a connection with someone, they feel it. When they feel like we actually care and we want to make a difference and we want to solve a problem or meet a need, they feel it. So the
Mhm.
psychology is like, as you mentioned, that belief change, like that belief exchange. It's the second the prospect really starts to get one, that you care, you're not running for the hills, you care, you actually want to make a difference. So you do need to care. Second, you can actually solve their problem. And third, when you can show them examples of other humans and business owners who you've solved problems for, all of a sudden, like they're there. They're there. And and so I think we can overcomplicate it. I I remember, I don't know about you, but back in the day, I read so many books on sales and selling, and I had all these fancy sales scripts until one day I burned them up and I threw them out because what I realized is that people just wanted to have a conversation. They wanted to have an authentic conversation. If you talk about where we are today, I feel like more than ever, it's about transparency and authentic conversations. Times have changed, right? Like, just be honest, be honest about like, how can I help you? And if
Mhm.
I can help you, I want to. And if I can't, and I said this before because I think this is so important to get in the mindset and the psychology of yourself, is like, if I can help you, I will. If I can't, I can refer you to somebody else, and that takes the pressure off you.
Mhm.
Because truly, Christine, it is a disservice for you not to offer your products and services to the world.
Yeah.
It is just a disservice for me not to offer the products and my products and services to the world. And for every listener, it's a disservice for you not to do that because you're holding someone back. And that's what I think about. I remember one of my mentors said, Ursula, you can be nervous about selling, or you can remember that this is not about you. This is about the people
Such good
you
advice.
are here to serve. Get out of the way.
I think it's golden advice, and it's obviously shaped the success that you've had. And when we realize how simple it can be, conversation, human to human, and in that conversation, our goal in selling is to reach a decision. And that
Yeah.
decision could be, yes, I'm in the place where my services are a good fit. And we've ascertained that through the open-ended questions you're suggesting we really lean into, and the 2 years that we spend a lot of time focusing on hearing what's being said and hearing the gap. Or we still add value by thinking, how can we serve you?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
simple.
Yeah, so simple. So simple, and yet at times so hard, because our subconscious mind says, stay safe, stay in your comfort zone, stay right where you are. Don't have that scary conversation, right? You don't want to be, thrown out. You don't want to be disliked. Like I totally get that. And I don't want to minimize it, because all of that comes up. So the question is, can your desire to help your prospects be greater than your fear of not being liked or of being rejected? And that's a really big question to ask yourself.
Yeah. Well, and it's a fundamental question of, do I want to be at the table?
Yeah.
And that's a whole question about business, guys. I'm going to ask it because you're here. Ask yourself if I'm willing to do this, because it is something you may never be gleefully clicking your red shoes to go skip to your office to go create. But your goal is to say, this is what's required to get to the other side, which is being witness and leading somebody to their own transformation. And that's where you say, it's not about you. It's about being in service of someone else. And the psychology is, people will do business with people they trust. And I've got a client of mine that we talk about the know, like, trust. And she's like, it's not a triad, it's a quadrant.
Ooh.
Caring is the quadrant that's
Yeah.
missing. And
Yes.
in this
Totally.
digital age, caring is a superpower. And people are like, well, it's exhausting to care. I said, you're not caring for 8 billion people on the planet. Why are you here? You're trying to find your 10, 30 clients that you're going to serve. And if you don't want to care, I'm also going to say, why are you at the table?
Right. Yeah. It's funny. We have a program called the CEO table. We talk about that all the time, what it means to be at the table, because as business owners, we do things that most of the world would never do. Most of the other humans on the planet, they don't want to do the things we do. They don't want to sell. They don't want to have to run a business. They don't want to have to be responsible for all these pieces. So you're doing something that most people don't want to do. And having a business is the biggest self-development course you'll ever go through in your life, because it's going to challenge everything, right? It's going to challenge every belief you've had about yourself. It's going to challenge your past. It's going to challenge it challenges everything. And when you realize that doesn't end, that doesn't end. And you just get to keep evolving. You get to keep growing. And there must be a reason that you're in this business, or you wouldn't be doing it.
You are always a work in progress. You are always on the personal development journey, and you're always in exchange of energy with other people. Like, business in its very nature is a business intersection point. And so when we're exploring possible fit, how do we transition successfully to the yes, no, and a decision made with confidence that doesn't feel creepy, doesn't feel persuasive or manipulative, but truly goes, yeah, we both feel good about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that question. So, as we talked about before, moving someone through the sales conversation can be as simple as asking, and some open-ended questions. And for example, I want to understand what's not working right now. What's your pain? So you can even ask, like, if it's a business, in my world, business coaching, it's like, I like threes. What are your top 3 biggest business challenges right now? That's what I want to know about. I want to understand that. And then I also want to understand, 12 months from now, Christine, where would you like to be in your business? Because now I have the gap. Right now, I understand where you are, what some of the struggles are, and I will have more questions. And then I see where you want to go, and I can then say, okay, so based on what you've shared with me, here are 3 potential solutions, 3 different coaching levels that we could offer you. Christine, knowing what you know about your business, you're leading your business. Which one of these would take you where you want to go the fastest? Like, that's what I want to know. Now, in that moment, I mean, I've just taken what could be a 30 to 40-minute conversation and made it into a minute, right? But inside of that conversation, then things are going to start to, I'm going to learn more. And when I ask that closing question, like which one of these would really help you get where you want to go the fastest, they're going to tell me. And then this is where the objections can start to come up. And I know objections can be cringy and awkward, and people are like, I don't want an objection. What I want to remind everyone is that an objection is a buying sign. An objection is simply someone saying, I'm trying to understand if this could work for me. This sounds good. There's a part of me that likes this, and there's a part of me that's like, I don't know. Or I'm concerned about how much is it? Or right. So it all starts to come up. And in my invitation in that moment is just to get curious, because you can take every objection and turn it into a question, right? So if the objection is, oh my gosh, there's no way I could pay for this, I would say, Christine, tell me more about that. Because in that moment, yeah, they probably don't have, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, a $50,000 pile of money sitting in their office. No one does, right? And so immediately you go to, I don't have the money. That's true. Like, it's not sitting in their office. Are there ways that they could pay for it? Yeah. So let's coach them through that. Let's see how they could get to that solution. So again, it's helping them stay curious. Third, this is the piece, and I truly believe that trillions of dollars are lost at this last piece, because I want you to either get a clear yes, I'm buying, and here's a deposit, right? I'm putting a deposit down today. A clear no, and I've served you, and I'm going to give you some free resources, and maybe we're going to connect again. You're on my list. Or number 3, and this is the one, you're a little bit stuck in the conversation. You find out that they have a business partner. We didn't know about that. Okay. Or they want to go check, their business banking to figure out how they might pay for it. You want to get a next step on the calendar. So you either get a yes, a no, or you calendar in that next step. Because I would say, okay, so how much, when will you be able to check with your bank? Tomorrow. Okay, what time tomorrow? 10 o'clock. All right. So do you want to talk at 12 or 1? I'm still driving the sale. I'm still leading this process. I'm still serving this person to help them. And I'm showing that I'm confident that I can do this, right? And so they pick the time, and then we jump on the call the next day. That missing piece is where most sales go off the rails, and that's where most people lose that opportunity.
I 100% concur. And what's interesting for me, and I want people to create a Post-it note. You guys all know I love Post-it notes around my workspace to guide my focus. The goal is to coach a decision. The goal is to get curious. The goal is to ask open-ended questions. And here's the thing, all of you heard the disruption, might have missed you. I don't want it to. A complaint and an objection is a buying signal. They're trying to problem solve. How will I make that work? Your opportunity is to brainstorm options, to expand, and to help them stay in the solving energy. Because when you have bought the service, they borrowed your confidence to be a solving energy. This is the first gate. Stay in it. And please make the next step in the call. I love that so much.
Yeah.
It's important. Guys, business is simple. We can simplify it and we can be better at it. I want to ask you, because I ask all my guests this, what's working for you right now to find buyers, to get more sales conversations, and to find the right people who are ready to say yes for your business?
Christine, I am obsessed with AI, specifically ChatGPT. I'm in another realm with that now. We are using it so much that we created a course called How to Double Your Sales Using AI, which has been super fun. And we are developing not only lots of custom GPTs, but we're using agents in our sales process now. And they're driving sales. They're interactive. They're amazing. It's phenomenal. So we're just using AI to be creative. And I see a lot of people kind of pushing away on AI, and that scares me a little bit for people, because I'm inviting business owners to embrace it from the perspective of, how can AI help me double my revenue this year?
I love that. Well, guys, you definitely want to go check out that, because I know AI is a possible option and you are winning with it. So go find out with someone who's winning with a strategy. Get curious. How do people find you?
Yes, ursulainc.co. And I'm also Ursula Mentjes on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Where else are we? TikTok. I always forget about TikTok. All the places. Ursula Mentjes. I'm easy to find because there's not. I haven't found another Ursula Mentjes in the world yet.
You're an original, breaking the mold and helping us here today figure out how do we get to yes with ease and confidence. And guys, I think you've got a winning ticket. Go find Ursula. Ursula, thank you for being our guest today. It is time to amplify your marketing message and win. Thanks for being here. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell-Rappin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrappin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.